Before coming to NYU, Rahim obtained his LLB from the University of British Columbia School of Law. After graduation, he will join the International Arbitration Group at the law firm of White & Case. A serious scholar of the law, an emissary on behalf of NYU, a generous colleague to his fellow students, as well as to undergraduates, Rahim is a model university citizen.
Thank you, Dean Revez. President Sexton, Chairman Lipton, distinguished guests, family and friends, and of course, fellow graduates. To persevere and to excel is NYU's motto, as we heard earlier. It is certainly appropriate to note today, as each one of us has had to persevere and excel in order to be here, NYU's 175th commencement ceremony. I was only going to be able to give this speech today if it didn't rain, as the student speeches were the first to get cut if it did rain. So the fairly modest goal I've set for the speech is to ensure that by the end of it, none of you wish it was actually raining today. On that note, I begin by acknowledging and thanking the family and friends that have helped us to get here today. A few months ago, I was sitting in the back seat of a taxi cab, secretly admiring the driving skills of taxi drivers in New York, as I'm sure many of you have done. When the driver began speaking with me, he told me that he had been driving the taxi cab for over 40 years in order to support his family and put his 3 children through university. His daughter had actually attended NYU Medical School. Of course, in large... I expected a cheer there. Of course, in large part due to her father's perseverance. Likewise, today, we must be thankful for those around us who have helped us along our journey. It's not just our perseverance, but theirs too that has allowed us to excel here at NYU and be here today. This day is significant for us graduates because it allows us to pause in this moment that bridges the past and the future to consider our role beyond NYU in this global society. It is indeed appropriate that NYU is located in this global city because it truly is a global school, one that fosters a meritocratic and pluralistic community. In attempting to learn more about how it is that NYU came to possess these qualities, I went to a source that I often go to whenever I'm in need of an answer: Google. And Google directed me to another source I often turn to, Wikipedia, which informed me now everybody can admit that they actually used it for some of their papers without any recourse from the professors. Which informed me that NYU was set up as a center of higher learning for all, regardless of national origin, religious beliefs, or social background, at a time when post-secondary schools were attended only by members of the privileged class. Staying true to this mission, NYU was one of the first to allow women into its professional schools, and one that admitted an unrestricted number of Jewish students when other schools had Jewish quotas. In 1931, Franklin Delano Roosevelt spoke at an event marking NYU centennial. He remarked, "What impresses me most is that New York University is a positive and actual influence upon the lives of such a huge body of students. It has been and is a tremendous factor in educating not just the rich and leisure class, but young people in practically every walk of life. As FDR knew, and NYU knows, the ability to persevere and to excel is not limited to any particular class or creed of student. Rather, the NYU community transcends the boundaries that divide the world today, whether those boundaries are religious, tribal, racial, sexual, the list goes on. NYU has taught us to replace these contrived walls with the bonds of human compassion. And now that we leave the NYU community, we need not leave behind the ethos of plurality that we have all experienced here at NYU. Now, this is especially difficult to do when, instead of focusing on what we all share in common, We're all always asked to identify ourselves as belonging to a specific group or category. Male, female, American, foreigner, straight, gay, Caucasian, African American, Asian, Hispanic, and of course the catch-all category, other. If we attempt not to be confined by these normal categories, that's for all the others out there. If we attempt not to be confined by these normal categories, people are usually confused. For example, when I'm asked where I'm from, I tell people I'm from Canada. And this, other Canadians out here. And this usually results in the follow-up question, where are you really from? And I tell people I'm really from Calgary, born and raised. And then they look at me as if I don't quite get what they're asking me. And so I explain that my parents and grandparents are from East Africa. And still unsatisfied with my response, I offer that my great-grandparents are from India, which usually gets the, I knew it nod. But instead of confining ourselves to these categories, what would happen if we were all to simply identify as human beings first? It is for us to learn from NYU's history and from our experience here that these categories need not separate us. Sure, they make us different, and this difference can be seen as a strength, but only once we recognize that we indeed have much more in common. We all wish for love, we all seek happiness, we all dream of a better life. And when tragedy strikes like it did at Virginia Tech last month, we all grieve. Because such a heinous event is an assault to all of our very humanness. At the NYU Vigil for the victims, we had clergy from 4 religions come together in prayer. Labels became irrelevant, and human compassion took over to bring people together. Human compassion is what we share with people beyond Greenwich Village. And indeed, it will certainly require perseverance for us to excel as a truly pluralistic society, but we must strive to achieve a society like the one we have all experienced here at NYU if we wish to bridge the boundaries that divide us and start tackling the world's problems together instead of in isolation or even on opposite sides. With this in mind, I leave you with our motto, a motto that we will see every time we look at our degrees, and a motto that is equally applicable to all human beings: to persevere and to excel. I have faith that we all together will. Thank you.